Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
Yes, indeed. It's Joe. How is everybody doing?
How's everybody? How are you, Joe?
I'm good, man.
Belize looked amazing.
It was an adventure. It was the opposite of relaxing.
Why? Because you were go fishing?
Yeah, right. Fishing and,
I thought fishing was relaxing, though.
It is, unless it's like windy and choppy and then I don't feel great and I'm just kind of struggling to focus on not hurling.
Okay.
If you will.
Well, so the last time you got a big hook in your neck, and then this time, did a fish bite you? I was trying to figure out that picture on Instagram. So what was that?
Here's what happened. So we went snorkeling, which I don't do, and we went snorkeling with these nurse sharks, and on the nurse sharks, or any sharks really, there's things called remoras right around on their back, basically like parasites. They eat, the stuff that the shark doesn't. And that remora, I was fishing and caught it on a hook. And the fishing guy was like, "You want to see something cool? You really want a cool picture for Instagram?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Lift your shirt up." And he takes it off the deck of the boat, which he had to take both hands to pry this suction.
Wow.
Basically a suction on their head, a suction cup. He pulls it off, and he sticks it on my chest, and he just leaves out the fact that it's going to hurt. B, it's going to leave a mark. And 3, it's hard to get off. But I got a good picture for Instagram. So
okay,
so for the gram.
Whatever the sacrifice is,
whatever you got to do.
Well, cool, man. And if anyone thinks we spend too much time talking about vacations on this podcast, I disagree with you, because vacations are what life is all about, man. We don't work to work, right? We work so that we can exactly, and that kind of leads into a sad segue. But it was not a good week for the mobile DJ industry. We first of all, I know you talked about Jason Jones's wife on the last episode, and Kelly unfortunately passed away after a bout with cancer, and extremely sad. Most people, I'm sure, know Jason. He was a high-profile guy at a lot of the conventions. He and Bill Herman were the co-hosts at Mobile Beat a number of years ago, did a lot of workshops, and just an all-around, I don't want to say I'm great friends with Jason, but I know him well, and just an all-around great guy. And my heart goes out to him and his family and Kelly's loved ones, and there's nothing more that can be said. Just, condolences and send positive vibes. And then last weekend, a very prominent DJ from up here in New Jersey named Mario Panicucci, all of 50 years old, passed away from cancer. He, I worked with Mario for about 3 years at Star DJs, and we had stayed in touch, intermittently. Star has done a number of reunions through the years, so I've seen Mario at those and had a chance. And again, I'm not gonna say that he and I were great friends, but we certainly knew each other very well. And went to the wake this week, and it's just, there's nothing else that can be said. It's sad. It's just those are moments that kind of bring it down. But if anything, they do remind you that life is short. We don't have an we don't know our expiration date. So, man, make the most of every day, right? Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Big turnout, lots of DJs for Mario's thing.
It was packed. We waited. I drove up with my friend Dave Nace and George Panzita. We probably waited about 25 minutes in line to get to the coffin. They had Mario laid out in his sequined jacket. And, and you know what? I think that was so perfect. Mario was the type of DJ, and I know some DJs cringe at this. They would call it, they would call it whatever, but Mario was an MC's MC. He was so interactive, dancing on the dance floor, hugging people, arms around the bride, everything else. His clients loved him for that. I don't think there was anybody, pardon me, better at that. And it was with his family, with his kids. He leaves behind 2 young boys, one I think 20 and one as a teenager. So just super, super sad. So anyway, condolences to the Jones family, and condolences to the Panicucci family, and live your life, everybody. It's you never know. You never know.
You really don't.
So now we do a hard segue out of that. I think I've told the story on these airways before, but when Kelly and I were in Ireland a number of years ago, we were listening to local radio, and they actually do obituaries on the radio there. in Ireland.
Yeah, you told me.
And then, so they read like 2 or 3 obituaries, and they hit a jingle, Galway weather. It was and we both cracked up because it was the hardest segue
ever.
So
right.
if I had that Galway weather drop, I would drop that right now, because that was like a hard left-hand turn
pivot. Yeah, pivot.
To the main topic of the week, which is I want to congratulate you. 1 year of the Vault.
February 20th. It was the 1 year anniversary, man, to the day.
How proud are you?
I would say, top, few things I've ever done, like up there with like raising kids. Like I'm that proud of how big it got and
That's
how,
awesome.
how successful it is. Honestly,
so when you say big, how many members do you have?
Over 1,200 now.
Jesus,
over 1,200.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Crazy. Consistent. I mean, listen, did 2 people drop a day? Yeah, but so did 2 people join that never have heard of it before. So it kind of plateaued around 1,200 a few months back, and I'm fine with it. Do I want 2,000? Sure. Do I want 20,000? Yeah, but 1,200 is 1,000 more than I thought that I would have.
Right. So
1,000 more.
Wow. So members can sign up monthly and annually. Is that how that works?
Okay. Yeah, correct. So a lot of people's, and this again speaks to, I guess I can pat myself on the back, but the renewal date would have been February 20th when everybody got on that first live webinar when I was inside that vault. And
sorry.
And she's excited about the vault.
Yes. That's Donovan congratulating you.
Super stoked. But it was one of those things, Mike, where a lot of people on that first day bought that annual membership.
Right.
So it was auto renew on February 20th. And very few people sent an email saying, hey, I didn't want that to happen.
That's amazing.
Very few. And then a lot of people are just, again, still just paying monthly.
Right.
But you can do either one. You can do monthly or yearly.
Okay. So you said bigger than you expected. You thought 200 and you've exceeded that now. So 1,200 means 6 times more than your wildest dreams. What do you think what's the reason for that? Or reasons? There's probably more than one, but what do you think are the reasons?
Well, I think my number, that 200 or 300 number in my head, Mike, was going back and looking at, the things that you and I have sold over the years. You know what I mean? And
the workshops and the materials. And
the materials, right. How many books do you sell at the end of this? Or how many DVDs did you sell of this? And I was like, okay, well, those people are your tribe. That's your fans. They're going to buy it. And let's say that was 200 over the last.
Yeah, that's the Seth Godin term of building 100%. A tribe. You give, 100%. And his philosophy is you give stuff away so that you build up a tribe, so that when you do have something to sell. So you thought your tribe was in the couple of hundred range.
And I still believe that it was, but I mean, at the end of the day, man, a happenstance meeting, again, life is short. Somebody asked me, just like they ask you all the time, to be on a podcast or this was a little webinar for members of this marketing DJ group he had.
Right.
And this guy's Dominic Perrone. And I think there were maybe, Mike, 20, 25 people. I remember at the very end of this webinar, which I just talked about marketing and some of the things I had done and how you kind of what I'm talking about in Mobile Beat, like thinking outside the box, doing interesting things. And at the end, I pitched that the vault was coming. And I think all I had up was a landing page and maybe somewhere to sign up for an email. And in fact, I had already hired a company in Charlotte. They were building the vault. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the call, he said, after everybody got off, he said, hey, man, let's set up a call for Monday. I think I can help you with this. And Monday came, and you know how Mondays are for me and you. It was madness, and I almost blew it off, and it would have been one of the biggest mistakes of my life. Like, it would have been like, those people that pass on a movie role, like, oh, I didn't take Batman because blah, blah, blah. And it would have been one of those moments I look back on and been like, why didn't I take that call? And so I take the call, and I'm telling you, like 10 minutes into this call, he starts talking about Facebook ads and building a mailing list and giving stuff away, to get these people to get on the mailing list and how we're going to be able to communicate with them through Facebook Messenger and text blasts. And I literally am typing an email firing the company that was building the website.
Wow.
And from that day on, from he's still, like, to this day, every day he is working on add content for the Vault.
All right, but so that's how you're generating new people. But to
Correct.
me, any subscription service,
Yep.
you have to prove your value every.
You're right.
You know, you and I sell a DVD or a video,
Sure.
you sell it once, and I mean, unless somebody hates it and demands a refund, it's pretty much over. But, you know, you have people that every month have to make the decision whether they renew, or your annual people, like you just said, you know, you had a rush of people this time. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing to get everybody in the door, but how are you keeping them in the door? And I think I have an answer, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, my answer is it's probably two or threefold, really. The first and foremost is content. Yeah. And consistency of the content.
They release stuff at
the first day of every month. I don't care.
You kind of remind me of Netflix. You know, Netflix gets you in and keeps you because they're every time you think about, is Netflix really worth it? You go, shit, they just released a new series or this movie.
Or a new documentary.
Yeah, so documentary. And you kind of remind me in the DJ's world of that because you're just constantly, and it makes me realize that the associations that are kind of dying on the vine, that's what they've done wrong. They haven't rolled up their sleeves. And listen, I know because sometimes, Joe, it's maddening trying to get you to do this podcast. Yeah. And not because you don't care anymore, but just because your schedule is so jam-packed. That's how, and I see it from a outsider's view looking in. God,
it is one. Yeah, it is 100% that the DJ's Vault curator of content is my full-time job now. Right. And Randy pretty much 100% runs Bunn DJ company. Right. And I still obviously go out and play every weekend.
Ton of credit to you for having a second-hand, right-hand man, whatever you want to call it, second in command, who could step in.
Crucial.
And really take over because, it used to be closer to 50-50, and now it's pretty much 100-0. So,
crucial. And so also, Mike, I think that it is also very much the community concept. You know what I mean? Like, to say you're a member of the DJ's Vault, like there are people right now in Vegas at the DJ conference and the Photo Booth Expo that are having like Vault meetups. Right. Like they'll post in the members only Facebook group, which is priceless. And again, before I go to bed every night, I'm personally the one that moderates that group. Right. Make sure that I approve every post or disapprove it. I'll tell the person why I didn't approve it. If I don't, I always go and comment on the things that I feel like I'm capable of commenting on. But that sense of community is another thing that I just didn't even see coming. Right. Honestly.
Well, it's funny that I would have predicted. I mean, we've gotten that with the PHDJ graduates, and I thought when we set up a Facebook group for the first set of graduates, after we did the second one, I was like, are we going to mix these together, or are we just going to have separate? And then we mixed them together, and people started interacting who had gone a year before, and they were accepting of the new people and the new people. And so that I do think, and listen, DJ idea sharing is probably the biggest one. The problem with DJ idea sharing is there's so many DJs and there's so much negativity and there's so much infighting, and you feel like you can't even pose a question in there without like running high. Yeah. You know, you have kept the vault, as other people have. Randy Bartlett's done it with his 1%. You've kept it very positive, and not to say that it's all sunshine and roses.
No, right.
You can talk about challenges and you can talk about stuff, but nobody's going to get bashed. You're not going to get called an idiot for asking a question or something like that, which you run the risk of in some of the other bigger groups, you know.
And I think also, Mike, it just goes to show you also how many DJs are out there, how many, I would say probably 70%, maybe more, are single ops that are in my group. And I would say probably 70-80% are part-time. You know, so again, it just goes to show you how badly people want to learn and fast forward through all the mistakes that you and I made through the star days and early elite days and all the dumb shit you did and all the dumb stuff I did. And they want a quicker pass to full-time. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not out there advocating, hey, quit your day job if you love your day job. But the majority of the people I talk to are like, man, I got to make this my full-time job. And I'm like,
show me my path from getting to here to there. Yeah.
But I will show you. You have to still work your ass off, but I'll show you the way.
Right. Right. So a year in, can you keep this going?
Yeah, 100%. Because I'll tell you why. One, I have a list of I use Wunderlist to keep track of all my things. So I have a list of all the, upcoming videos I want to shoot, all the articles I want to write, all the documents that I want to create. And then I have a list of guests that I want to have on. And then I have people like you that I've convinced to come down here and shoot videos.
Should I start looking into airfare for that? Because I'm looking forward to that. All right.
Yeah. We're going to have fun. We're going to shoot some MC stuff for you guys
Nice.
in early April. So, and again, Mike, it is all about listening. And I've talked about this before. It's in my presentation about when you network and you listen. If you listen to the members, like 2 days after the celebration, I'm like, all right, celebration's done. What can we improve on? What do you want to see? And that was one of the things. We need to see more about emceeing. We need to see like somebody that knows this stuff. And I'm like, I'm okay. Mike's better. You know what I mean? Like he literally does this for 4 days in a row in Las Vegas.
Well, speaking of which, you and I struck an agreement before the anniversary. You have a new offer for
I do.
Members.
I was getting ready to get to that, and people were super stoked about it. So if you are a annual member now of the DJ's Vault, you will see under the annual section, which only pops up if you're an annual member, at the very top, a wedding with Mike Walter, which if you don't have it or you never got it, it is now in digital format when you log into the Vault. And it is basically, Mike calls it like a director's cut of everything that happens from the minute guests walk in until Sparkler exit.
Right.
And it shows him emceeing it. It shows where he stands. It is super well done. I watched the whole thing back again. So
Thank you.
Picked up some tips myself. So
yeah, Joe and I struck a little agreement about that. I said, you can make that available for a limited time if that's going to help you with your renewal rate and everything else. I'm honored. I was honored to be asked, and I'm glad I could help. And man. I hope does. I hope it did, man. It did.
You were in all the ads and everything that went out.
Cool. So 12 months in the rearview mirror. Give me some of your favorite moments from the Vault this year.
Let's see. Definitely the launch, like the original launch that night.
And just seeing how many signups you were getting, like, this is way out of my
brain. But oddly enough, I looked at, that guy Linus that does all my videos right before we went live. And I said, this is going to be huge. And he was like, how do you know? I was like, because I've done a million entrepreneurial things, and I never had this feeling before. Like this is different. The webinars, man, they're every week is interesting. You know what I mean? And it's always, I feel like the Jersey guys that bring it I don't want to say the loudest, but the hardest, the fastest, the most information in an hour.
Right.
So, the U's, the Janis, the Jordan Marshalls, it's just boom, 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 rapid fire. Like I'm just kind of nodding my head, like keep going. And then
I've heard people comment that's why they love this podcast, because you got my Northeast, delivery and mentality and everything else tempered by your, down home, southern hospitality, southern drawl, southern everything. So I mean, I can see that, and it's good that your listeners are accepting. And but then you've also, like, I missed it last week, I have to go back and watch. You had Marc Farrell on.
I did have Marc, who's the absolute opposite.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's
California.
He's super mellow. He had notes, no prepared slides or anything. He was great. But he's just super mellow. Everything.
But did you do a Q&A with Marc, or was it just
did
like
a Q&A?
Okay.
No, talked to, walked me back through how he got started, how he, did all this voiceover work, and, all the MC stuff he did, and how the workshop began. And it was really cool. Definitely go back and watch it.
Very cool.
But I would say, though, Mike, the most rewarding part is just the emails and the DMs and the messages I get, and from people that are like, I've gotten multiple, you changed my life, emails. Wow. My wife doesn't have to work 3 jobs anymore. Like, I went from 12 weddings to 50 weddings this year, and it's all because of the stuff I learned in here.
That's
I
amazing.
rebranded because of you. People were booking because of you. Like,
It feels good, right?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. That's the reward at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, it's a monetized thing, but I don't know, man. Those are the messages that I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this until if it gets to the point where there's 3 people left, I'm like, yeah, I got 3. I got 3 left. I'm going to do it until the last one of you drops.
Yeah, I think from working with you now for so many years, going back to the workshop and this podcast, I think you and I both share that trait. It's one thing to make money off of something, and I'm certainly a capitalist, and I want to be able to monetize and make money off of it. Sure. But if there isn't that warm, fuzzy feeling at the end of it, to me, it's not the same. It's one of the reasons why I love doing weddings. When I get that hug at the end of the night, oh my God, you made my wedding. I'll never forget this. That all the money I made that night is one thing, but then having that emotion is, it's the icing on the cake. And it's the same thing when I reach out and help DJs. And when somebody says to you, man, my wife doesn't have to work part-time anymore because of this job. Think about the impact you've had on their family. That's tremendous. Very cool.
And I mean, and also, Mike, it's the same thing as the speaking. Mike and I don't make jack to speak at these things, guys. And I promise you, I spend a lot of time on my stuff. You can quadruple what I spend on my presentation and practicing with what Mike does. You can tell when the first second he hits the stage, and he made $0 off that. And sometimes at the end of those things, all we want is for people to say, man, I learned so much. Half the time he speaks or I speak, we don't have anything to sell at the end. Right. We just do it, and we just walk off the stage. And that's all we want, is for people to be like, dude, I don't care if it's one thing, take away one nugget that's going to help you or your family or your business. That's all that we care about.
Cool. So let's wrap. If I'm a listener and I have no clue about the Vault, where do I go to check it out?
www.thedjsvault.com. And it's all right there. Enough. Yep. It's super simple. You can sign up if you want to just try it monthly. Knock yourself out. I think it's $20, and you can cancel at any time. In fact, if you're 10 days in, you don't like it, shoot me an email. I'll refund the $20. But I promise you, if you, just like Netflix, if you use it, if you log in and you start to look around, and it's all categorized by, do you need marketing help? Do you need hiring help? Do you need sales help? It's all categorized. And maybe you learn better reading. Some people learn better watching videos. It's all right there.
Well, and I'm the one that brought up Netflix because I think it's a content thing. Yeah. But look at it as a gym membership too. If you pay your monthly at a gym and never show up, it's a waste of money. But if you actually go to the gym every couple of times a week and actually put the effort in and work out, you are a better person for it. So that's
a better analogy.
If you sign up for the Vault and you never look at videos, you never read any content, you don't get involved, then you're right. It's going to be a waste of money, and you'll cancel after a couple of months. But I can't imagine anyone diving into the Vault and not finding multiple things that are going to improve if they take the time and do it. And why wouldn't you if you're going to pay the money? So cool.
And that Facebook members only group is crucial.
Right. So you've got that for the ongoing conversations, and you've got the Vault just for just diving into the deep end with videos and stuff like that.
Here's a segue before we wrap this. If you guys have not seen yet, we do have a brand new Facebook discussion group just for this podcast. It is on Facebook. It is PHDJ Podcast Discussion. That's the name of the group, PHDJ Podcast Discussion. Just find that. Ask to be a member. We will approve you. And we want to keep the conversations going about these podcasts. So we'll be posting the podcast in there. And then, of course, you guys start to chatter under, and Mike and I'll jump in when we can.
Yeah, very cool. Nice way to put a bow on it, Joe.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.